Quilters are known for their ability to recycle and repurpose fabric. So today I want to share with you what I did when a friend brought me a whole stack of her husband's Crown Royal bags. Now, for those of you that may not be familiar, these bags are part of the packaging for a bottle of American whiskey. And I have seen lots of pictures online of various quilts of people using this. They're kind of a felt material. Some of the older ones are really fuzzy and soft. They're very distinctive in their purple and yellow color scheme, and it's just fun to use some of these different materials to make a keepsake. I started with this and turned it into this. Back to the beginning. To take apart the bags, I started there at the seam line, and I had to just get my seam ripper in there and rip that seam, open it up, find those stitches there that are encasing the gold cord. That is my first step. Just work all those stitches. I was ripping a few at a time to get that started and just work my way all the way around the bag to expose that yellow cord. I need to preserve as much of the bag as possible so that I have useful pieces to work with. Then find the kind of knot in the cord so that I can pull it out of the bag there, and then set that aside for another project. Then we're ready to separate the bags. I need that plain purple felt, so I'm going to follow that serged seam line there right along the edge as close as I can get to those stitches. I thought about just ripping that all out, but I really didn't want to deal with that time it would take to take out all those stitches, so I just trimmed away right at the edge, work around the bottom curved part. The seams want to lay kind of right where I need to cut, so working around that bit. And there I have one side of the bag. Repeat the process here on the other side to get in there next to that seam. And then I have the front and the back pieces. The middle kind of side part of the bag is a pretty narrow strip. Could be useful for another project, so if you have something in mind, please share in the comments of how you would utilize that leftover purple felt. And there we go with the usable parts of the bag. So now I have to trim them down, trying to center the logo as best I can for the size block I'm making. Double check everything's trimmed to the right side, correct size. And some of the bags are larger than others. I'm just checking to see if I can get 2 squares out of this one. Unfortunately, this was one of the smaller bags, so I can only get 1 usable square of the size I need. So lots of leftover purple felt. And I have some plain squares and some embroidered squares. Time to piece the block. I decided to use the classic friendship star for my Crown Royal project. First, I pieced the felt from the Crown Royal bag with the gold fabric to make the star points. Then I made half square triangles with purple fabric and the gold fabric and laid out the block and sewed everything together as a classic 9-patch. I'll link the full Friendship Star tutorial in the description below. Now for the fun part. I kept the free motion quilting fairly simple with switchbacks across the yellow sections, spiral designs in the purple areas, and just a simple outline for the Crown Royal felt star. I did add a more detailed spiral sun star in the corners and some wishbones in the border. Looking at the front view again, focused on those yellow stars in the corner, the inner border, and then some straight stitching for piano keys in the outer border. Just gives it a nice soft look for the whole thing. Now, I don't want to encourage any excessive alcohol use, so take your time if you're planning to collect the Crown Royal bags to make a quilt of your own. It was a fun project, and if you'd like to see some other scrappy quilt projects, check out this video next.